right, let's go over some basic coloring tips that I share with all my elementary students. And it's a problem. The coloring tips I'm sharing with you are something I noticed across the board with kids really 5th grade and under. By the time we get to 3rd grade, a lot of them have mastered this, but it's something that we don't want to fail to go over. So these are some tips that I give my students. One thing, and I'm going to show you what not to do and what to do. So one thing I notice is when my students are coloring, and I'm going to use washable markers because I feel like that is something that is more accessible. You may have different markers at home, but we're going to use this for today. So with washable markers, Crayola, something I noticed, so say we have a circle. Let's draw a circle for our experiment. So I'll say, okay, let's color, let's color our circles today. We want to color all the circles. So a lot of kids will color like this, okay? Or let's draw another circle. It's kind of more of an oval. Or my younger friends normally, they're just trying to get it colored as fast as they can. But what kids fail to realize is when you do that, it's actually gonna take you longer, because then I'm gonna say, okay, let's come back in and let's color our white spots. And come back in. All right, so these two, you know, the coloring like this with the tip of the marker, still using the tip of the marker in this situation, and coloring just all around. A lot of younger kids are just kind of coloring all around and moving their hands all around, which is great, but that's not the goal when it comes to coloring and really filling in our work. And as they say, you know, you can draw outside the lines, etc. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, but I do want you to color well. And some of this is development of your hands and your muscles, and sometimes we get tired. That's normal. If you get tired, I say take a break, or let's stretch out your hand. A lot of times it's this muscle right here that's getting tired, or maybe your fingers. Take a break, wiggle, take a break. All right, now, here's something I want to show you. So I was coloring with the tip of the marker in those examples, but I want you to consider turning your marker on the side. Instead of holding it down, look how I've turned it and I'm holding. So look what happens when I do that. So much smoother, so much more color is coming out. There's more color on the sides because it's wider, so you're getting more range. Now, here's another thing. I always tell my students to color up and down or across. So you can go up and down if you're trying to fill something, up and down, up and down, up and down. You can go across like this, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, okay? That fills it so much more than these. Also, another thing, if you're really coloring something like a circle where you don't want the lines and you know your color to come outside of the lines, I always suggest coming around with the color you're using and kind of outlining or tracing inside a little bit, just that so you can move your marker a little bit more and feel like you're not going to go out of the lines. And then once again, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, or back and forth. Typically you want to stay in one direction. Okay, so some of it I've done up and down, and some of it I've done back and forth. And if you look closely, you can see my back and forth marks or up and down marks. But typically you would either just want to do up and down or across. But for this purpose, I was showing you some different ways. So there's my simple coloring model for today. You can also do this with crayons, oil pastels, colored pencils. It really works with anything. And just practice that. Practice that in your drawings. Practice coloring a lot, coloring big. The more you fill your paper with color, and a lot of things, it's just going to look so much more finished. So it's something that when you're older, you can make the choice and say, no, I don't want all of this to be colored, but had to finish it and make it look really good. And if something is hard or it's taking too much time, take a break. Take a break and come back to it. Artists do that all the time. We take breaks and we come back to our art. We might put something to the side and we come back to it.